Welcome to another episode of Let's Think About It with Dr. E. I am so excited to have you in this space with me for yet another episode. But I first want to stop and tell you thank you to everyone who has subscribed, who has went over to YouTube and liked my page. But if you haven't, go right now, and subscribe to Let's Think About It with Dr. E. You don't want to miss the latest content that's dropping. And it's only going to drop on YouTube. So today, I have a guest with me today. This is going to be an amazing conversation. I think this is one that has been a conversation that's been much needed, that's been overlooked. But today, we're going to dive right into it. And today, we're talking about money moves, breaking down barriers to capital for Black women as entrepreneurs. I really thought this was a topic that I think that we can really gain some insight, especially from Jasmine Crockett, representative, and how they were done with the Fearless Fund. And so I think this is the conversation that we really need to have as it relates to capital and how we can gain access to it. So today, get your cup of tea, some hot chocolate, some coffee, and come on and just join the conversation. I believe this is a conversation that you don't want to miss. But I need you to find your girlfriend, find your mama, your sister, your aunt, and share this episode, because today we're going to share some nuggets. Trudy's going to share some nuggets. I'm just going to guide the conversation. So today, Trudy, I want to thank you for being a guest on Let's Think About It with Dr. E. Thank you for being a part.
Absolutely. I'm so honored to be here.
You're so welcome. So listen, Trudy, let me pause, y'all. I got to tell you this. Trudy is a walking book of knowledge. She has so much wealth and insight. Last year, I signed up for a grant class, and it was just me. So I think it was last year. And we had a conversation. We had a whole class with just me in that class. And I got to learn and pick her brain for everything that she had and get all the knowledge. So when you have opportunities to take advantage of people and be in the room and use it. I think sometimes we overlook people right in our community who have wisdom and knowledge to go in another state and get it. So I thought it not robbery to have you come be a part, because you have been impactful in my life and opened me up to avenues of resources that I didn't otherwise know about. And so we're going to start right there, Trudy. Tell us a little about who is Trudy and what does Trudy do?
So I am Trudy B. Parson, the founder and CEO of Fortify the Business Launch Firm. We are a comprehensive business launching firm, as you know. We're the only comprehensive registered launching firm in the state of North Carolina, where we offer everything in-house for the business owner. We do tax prep, tax strategy, which are not the same, alternative business funding, which I think is very applicable to our conversation today, through our one of our smaller companies, Fortify Financial. We do master courses, master classes built around all things business. And then I also teach for the ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, their cohorts that they have. So there's several of them, like the Boost Pad, the Center for Creative Economy, all of these places that have pop-up cohorts. There's several of those that I teach for inside of those. And so I'm married, been married for 26 years. We've been together almost 30 years. We have a 22-year-old daughter who's staying at home and driving back and forth to finish her Doctor of Physical Therapy program, and 2 beautiful dogs that I love. And I am a avid plant enthusiast, as you see.
She's overnight just came out. I mean, she's got plants everywhere.
Everywhere between the office and the house. And I might could use one more space to start housing some. I probably got about 10 on the way now. But yeah, that's just a little bit about who I am. I've been in ministry since 2005. Marketplace ministry is really where God is allowing me to bloom, and have found that I've been the most effective of all the platforms. Just here, people feeling that there's something different, and then unlocking access. And so I'm glad to be here. Thanks again for having me.
I am, one of the things you said that I thought was key, and that is something that you just said, that unlocking. Recently we were cleaning some stuff out in my grandma's house, and I said, Granny, where did all these keys come from? So my granddad had all these keys. And so we were trying to figure out, do these keys still work? Do they go to any doors in the house? And so we went around started just trying to try them at different doors. And we found that a good majority of them do not work. They do not unlock anything. So I said, we need to get rid of these keys. And the ones we found that work, we kept them. So I feel like sometimes we don't know how to use the right keys to unlock the right doors. We try a lot of doors. You can put a key in the door, this don't work, I'm gonna try another key, that work. What is the power of unlocking a door and walking into that door? What would you say that would look like, unlocking something?
Well, the first thing it looks like is getting rid of the right keys to the wrong doors. And that's the first thing that we have to do, because I've done it too. And if you think about it, Erica, you probably had keys to doors that you didn't toss because the door no longer was for you, right? You kept the keys. And so sometimes it really, so sometimes to things that you don't even own anymore. So it's about identifying what door is for you first of all, and then getting rid of all of the things that go to the doors that aren't for you, and cutting out the distraction. It really is about that. And so it's about having the knowledge to unlock.
Gotcha, that's good.
And believing that you can.
No, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Believe you can. So we're gonna jump right into the question. So we all saw it play out about the Fearless Fund and how they wanted to block African American women who were funding other African American women through grant funding. So they got blocked because we were providing funding for other African American women, and they thought it was discrimination.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you, my first response was, we always get discriminated against.
Yeah.
Why can't we just have our own? You know, why can't we create a fund that we can go and pour our funds in and we can get access to? And having said that, the owners of the Fearless Fund, they had to revamp their language, and so they would give access to all women. And so look at that court case and the precedent of it. How would you say that would that have impacted us as it relates to access? Have we been able to keep our own, build our own? How do you think they would grant us more access?
I don't think we would have been able to, and I think that's just a precursor to what's to come.
Exactly.
So, like with the threat of the elimination of DEI, I'm pretty sure a lot of the BIPOC minority specific funding will be eliminated. And that's why it's so important that you're having this conversation now, so that people can tap into resources now, before, like right now, like yesterday now, right? And so that is so important, because the elimination of DEI could look a little bit like this. It's going to reduce those targeted funding programs you're talking about. It's going to decline in support from large corporations. For example, a corporate-led initiative like Google or for startups, Black Founders Fund, or Amazon's Black Business Accelerator are examples of DEI-inspired programs. Those will be eliminated. Decreased access to inclusive financial institutions, like CDFIs, we hear a lot about those. Fewer mentorship and networking opportunities that are designated for those who have not been educated in business or haven't had access to that level of education. It's going to create challenges in market access, supplier diversity. So much is going to come with that. Potential regress in representation within venture capital, which is huge, because that's always been a challenge for females, not just women of color, but females overall. But the elimination of DEI is really going to crack down on that.
And I don't think people really understand the impact of DEI, how it protected, and now by it going away, what it's going to eliminate. I think sometimes we think about stuff after the fact, but DEI is huge.
It is.
It's very huge.
Yeah, it's not just us being placed on the job, right? It's not just that. There is so much broader than that. And when it comes to small business, it's really, really huge. And especially since COVID, it has really helped a lot of small business owners be able to gain access and the help and the training that they need to go along with the funding.
Absolutely. How do you think the SBA is going to play out with this moving forward with access to funding?
I think they may challenge it a little bit. I think the SBA may challenge, the restrictions that are coming to the best of their ability. I don't think they'll be successful in it, but I do think that they, I'll be honest with you. I don't think they will be successful. I do think that there will be, and all that means is that it gives, we have more competition, but it's the competition we've always had.
We've always had.
We're built to compete.
We're built. And the thing about it is that we are, as African American women, we've always bought the rear up, and we've always created systems that other people have taken from us.
Yeah.
They built multi-million businesses off of our systems.
Yeah.
And so, having said that, what can we do now to gain access to capital now while we still have opportunity?
Yeah, so one of the things is to really tap into organizations who's offering the money. Look at who the current president is offering money to. Where's the government putting their money? Absolutely. Are they putting it behind education? Are they putting it around businesses that support certain entities? Where are they placing their money? And that's where you want to go, and that's where you want to focus. And that may not be the niche that you're in with your business, but for now,
Go after that money, yeah.
but for now, you need to find out how close can you come to that niche to access that funding. And there's workshops everywhere about grants and things like that. There's Google, of course. There's AI you have now. But things that you don't know, you need to invest so that you can know. There are some things that you have to operate your business, and money is one of them.
Absolutely, you need money.
And so if you don't know how to get it, you need to invest on finding out how to access that. I think it's real important for women to really know where they stand in their business, what is their voice, and that their voice does have power. So whenever you're having conversations with investors, that you're saying it with your chest, right? Like you're not just saying, well, hi, my name is Ellen, and I sell hair bows. No. Like you own it,
Yes.
and like you look like somebody that they should know because they should. They should.
So do you think traditional funding is going to be a lot more challenging in the next coming year? Such as going to the bank to get a loan, traditional funding as we know it?
Not any more than it always has been, especially for us. That's why I'm thinking, a lot of the changes people fear are coming has been our life.
It has been, yeah.
This is not new news to us. How to navigate these waters is not new news to us. We know that the odds are stacked against us when we go in the door.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter if you have all your things together or not. This is what I found out during COVID, which is the reason we started Fortify Financial. There were a lot of people in business that had been in with their banks for years that needed money.
Wow.
Emergency funds, like they're going to close my doors if I don't pay these invoices. And they would go to their banks that they've had relationships with, and the banks would tell them, well, if you check these boxes, in the next couple of weeks, we'll fund you. And they were not funding them. And so that's why I got into alternative business funding. You have to have a quicker turnaround. You have to have a plan to be able to spend and turn that money, but it's available to you. So I say it seems like you're stuck in a corner or up against the wall, and a no is not, it's a no from them, but a no is not always a no. Exactly. It just means you need to pivot. Exactly. And you're never really stuck as long as there's another way, and there is always.
Always another way.
Always another way.
Always another door.
There's always another door.
An opportunity. But I think we now are saying, I think, I was talking to someone the other day, we're letting fear set in. Yeah. Too quick, too soon. Yeah. And so now we operate from a place of fear. And like you said, these barriers have always been there. They might get a little tighter. They might squeeze us a little bit better, but we've been used to the squeeze. Yeah. We've been used to having to maneuver through uncharted territory, or what I like to say, territory that's been charted for before. They're just making the route different. They choose a different route for us to go. So how can we leverage community support in funding? Like in our local community, what can someone do to go to their local community and access funding? How could we talk about community development? Is that a place we can start? Look at what our local, state, and city grant funding and then what those requirements, because sometimes those requirements can be harder than applying for a federal grant.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you think about city funding or and county funding, when you're thinking about those things, on their websites they have what their city plan is, which gives you pretty much your grant proposal, because you want it to connect with what their plans are, right? If they say that they want to encourage higher income per household, that's their goal. Well, how do you do that? You provide jobs. So then, is what you're doing going to provide jobs? If yes, then you just align with the city goals. And so that's what you have to think about. You also need to get your city and county certifications so that you can be a vendor for the city and county. A lot of people aren't aware of that. They think about certifications just to obtain government grants, but the way to get into city and county contracts, you have to be a registered vendor with them, which is just to get your certification. But then also be mindful and intentional about aligning your goals with the city goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So would you say that, and I think this is key here, is developing relationships with people that know how to help you maneuver. I think sometimes we try to go in from the outside, think we can go walk right in. Sometimes it's who you know that's on the inside that can help you get access. And I think sometimes in this next season we have to develop relationships. So how would you say we can build relationships a lot stronger, because we're gonna hit a lot more brick walls coming forward. So relationships are key.
Yeah.
How can we do that now that's non-traditional? What would you say?
Well, I always say that there would never be a harvest where a seed is not sown. And so you go to these places, they call it networking, I guess. And so you go to these places that you may feel uncomfortable about going to, because you don't feel like you're going to understand it all. You're not going to. And what you do is turn your phone on, record conversation, record what's going on in the room, go home, sit and play it back, Google until you do understand, and keep showing up in those rooms until you understand it 100%. Then find a new room that you don't understand. And it's about really showing up in your community and meeting these people and letting your face become familiar. And then having something to say productive when you're in these rooms. It's not just about getting in the room or sitting at the table. It really is so much about having something productive and valuable to say when you're at the table that makes them listen.
And prepare before you go into the room.
Prepare before you go into the
have
rooms.
something in your head and in your mind that's something somebody wants to hear. That makes sense. Don't go in there and just ramble on. I want a detail card. Okay, that's fine. Okay, well, why are you in this room with detail cards?
Right.
Detail card conversation. Not in this room.
Right.
There's no room for that. So when you go into these rooms, you got to kind of understand the climate and the atmosphere and who just might be in that room. So it's important that we understand, have a conversation that people want to hear. And
they're so important when you're going to like a venture capital meeting, when you are applying for grants, like the NC Idea grant, ecosystem grant is due December the 5th, I think. But think about who is going to see those applications, who those leaders are. And if you're doing pitch competitions, make sure that you know who the judges are, stalk their social media, not to necessarily chat with them, but just to see how they vibe, how they move, the tone, the talk to. I'm not talking about manipulation, I'm talking about strategy, right? There is a difference. And so you want to make sure that you do your research, do your due diligence. And to be honest with you, some venture capitalists, you don't want their money because it could mean taking a certain percentage of your business. And even when it comes to that, sometimes as business owners, they don't even know what percentage of their business they can afford to give to an investor. So these are things that you have to really determine and do your homework on.
Wow. And so you said something there at earlier part of conversations, learning how to pivot. I think that pivoting from where you are to where you want to go. I told someone the other day, don't even focus on who is going to be the next president. Focus on what strategy you're going to do to move your business forward to the next season. And that means understanding what policy is going to look like. So we got to understand what Project 2025 is going to look like and what it says, what's in there. You don't got to know word for word, but you need to have an idea of what's in there and what's going to fit. And then you got to say, okay, how can I pivot? And then what room can I get in? That it may not be that room, but as you said something, my business may not align with it right now, but if that's where the money is, I need to go align myself with someone where it's money. Hey, we can partner. Hey, I can do this part, you can do it, we can come together. How important do you think collaboration is going to be moving forward?
It's huge. I think collaboration has always been huge. I say collaboration is the new black and competition is whack. That's what I say. And it's so important. Even if you're a for-profit and then there's a nonprofit that may get the funding and you could offer the services for the nonprofit, you could do that. Or you could be both. You could have a nonprofit and a for-profit, and then your for-profit provides the services to the nonprofit who got the funding, or vice versa. So I think it's very, very important. Instead of you trying to do it all, you could possibly have someone to partner with that is accessing the money. Currently, there's a colleague of mine, and both of us are planning to apply for a grant for $100,000, but we're going to collaborate. And they're giving away 12 of those grants.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, 12 of those $100,000 grants, okay?
Yeah.
And so if I were to be awarded, he was to be awarded, and then we collaborate, that's $200,000, and we could do more together.
Exactly.
We could do more together.
And so one of the things we're saying, guys, here is that we've got to think outside of the box. We no longer can think inside of a box, a circle, rectangle, square. All that needs to go out the door. Outside the box thinking is something that we've got to do. Accessing capital for African American women have always been a challenge. As Trudy said, we've always had a challenge with that. But what are we going to do now? We cannot go back and say, I don't know who the key players are in my city. I don't know who is this. Listen, right now, as much as we want to disconnect ourselves from social media and the news, you got to know who's been being put in a position. You got to know who's been appointed to these positions. You got to know who's connected to them. It's about connection. So one of the questions, are there capital resources that black women can access that they're able to get right now, or does accessing capital take a long time? Like you can apply for a grant, and grant could take some time to get awarded that grant.
Yeah.
Are there funds they could get now outside of traditional loans before we move into the presidency? Or are those funds going to automatically end once the president takes place? That was a question asked to me. I'm going to ask you that question. So even though they were earmarked to last from now to December 2025, are they going to cut those funds off if they were earmarked for XYZ?
No, I think they continue until, he's in office and actually passes some things. So I think you have a little bit of time, but when I say a little bit of time, I mean a little bit of time. Okay. So there you have SBA grants and microloans. Microloans are up to $50,000. You have WOSB, Federal Contracting Program, which is just women-owned small businesses. You have those types of contracts to tap into. You have SBA training and education programs, Community Advantage loans. That's another SBA initiative. Then you have angel investors and venture capital. And really going into those two, you have to be mindful about knowing your numbers, knowing what you can afford to give away in your business, whether or not you want to be in a relationship, because it's really like marrying somebody for their money, and how controlling they want to be, if they want to report every day, if they want to talk every day, if they want all of those things, because sometimes they can be that way. And more of those are emerging specifically for the BIPOC community. You have women-focused angel investor networks.
So tell me what an angel investor is. Is that someone that's silent?
So angel investors and venture capital, venture funds, when you think about, silent, they usually are one person that has a special interest in something. Venture capitalists are more than one person, and they're more invested in the numbers, right? Like the angel investor might be somebody that's just really passionate about what you're doing, and they're investing from their own pocket. Venture capitalists, they're invested from a larger account, which means they want a larger return, and oftentimes that means they want a higher percentage of your business. But if you don't know what percentage you can give away, and you give them more than what you could afford to give, when I say that, I mean you have to know what your net margin has to be for your business to stay operative. And so if you don't know what that looks like, you give too much away, businesses close down because they can't afford to pay back the venture capitalists, right? And they're not really that concerned about your passion. That's why they have angel investors. It's women focused in angel investor networks like Golden Seeds, Women's Venture Capital Fund, those are examples of investor groups for women. There's venture capital firms that support women entrepreneurs, like Female Founders Fund, the BBG Ventures, Backstage Capital, and those types of places. You also have diversity-focused investment funds, which we've talked about. Maybe just now those may actually go poof day one.
Yeah.
So,
Most likely, yeah.
and networking, again, and visibility is so important to show up. And there's so much networking opportunity online now.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Where you can network every day if you wanted to, all over the world, just from your Zoom box. And so, but then don't forget to show up in person to network.
Absolutely.
I think during COVID, we got so comfortable to the box that when it was time to go outside, we didn't want to go outside. We were just like, no, I'm going to go right here. So,
one of the things that I have seen, and you may have seen it too, more and more artists, singers, actors, and things of that nature, they're putting money out there for you to get grants.
Yeah.
Because I think they qualify in this bracket, so they can afford to give money away because they're going to get tax write-off.
Yes.
So we're going to see more and more money coming through that access from singers and artists because they want to give money away because they're going to get a tax credit. And I'm telling people when they put it out, they go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, don't just because, and you don't might not like the artist.
Yeah.
But if they put the money out there,
right?
If they're going to give out $10 million, right? Or maybe 5 people, you ain't got to like the artist.
Yeah.
You might not necessarily got to lie with that, but if they're giving money and it's something you can use it for, go for it. So I'm telling people that I'm seeing more and more of that. I'm seeing more artists now starting to put up money to give out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before.
It sounds kind of something like the wealth of the wicked, right? So wherever the money's laid up, you need to go get that.
Exactly.
You need to go get.
Trudy, go get your money.
Go get your money. It's not that it's not out there. It's laid up. Go get your money.
Go get it. Go get your money.
Yeah, yeah.
How do we make our voices heard? How do we make our voices heard? I told someone when you walk into a room, I told someone just the other day, own it.
Yeah.
I don't have to know about anybody in that room. When I walk into that room, I'm gonna own that room. I ain't got to know nothing about the room. I walk in with my head high. Hey, how are you? I'm gonna introduce myself.
Yeah.
Own the room.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's just about making my voice heard in the room. How can we help other women make their voices heard?
Oh gosh, listen. You know what I'm talking about it. So about owning the room, it has nothing to do with the room. It has everything to do with you and your confidence, right? And we can't, even in coaching, we can't teach you to be confident, but we can make you competent enough that it grows your confidence. That's really what confidence is about, right? Like when you go into that room, you know who you are. You know the knowledge that you carry, and you know you just bad to the bone, right? You know that. Like I say, it's okay to flex as long as your flex is not a flop.
Exactly.
Right? As long as you are not all porch and no house, then it is absolutely okay. And that's what other women have to do. They have to make sure that they are competent enough, that they are confident whenever they go into these spaces to be themselves, not to be somebody else that's in the room. Because if somebody's looking for that person, they're going to look past you to get to the person they're looking for.
Absolutely.
But if they're looking for you, they should find you and find you competent and confident. And so it just really comes down to doing the work. If you do the work, it's going to show.
It's going to show.
It's going to show.
Yeah. I know sometimes we get into a place, sometimes we feel like we're not confident, but you said something key, competent enough, know what you know.
Yeah.
And be confident in what you know.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I tell somebody I think this is gonna be the last degree. I love school.
Yeah.
I love learning. And but I've learned more outside the classroom than in this second PhD program that I'm learning. I'm doing it strictly for business. I tell somebody I'm not going to this degree just for this is strictly for a business purpose.
Yeah.
It has intention behind this degree. And but my knowledge is sitting with people who know, and I'm just listening. Sometimes I want to say this. I want y'all to catch this. It's not you going into a room and you always talking.
Yeah.
But you need to listen. Because people are going to drop nuggets. They're going to say something. You need to be able to catch it. and write it down, put it in your phone, because I've been in places and they say something, that's good, and I put it in my phone, my notes, I go back and look at it. But sometimes we just sit down, we just smiling. No, you need to be in the room, but you also need to be absorbing what's there, but you need to be listening. Sometimes not always talking, but it's listening, because sometimes you can miss one of the biggest opportunities because you were talking and you didn't hear what they were trying to say.
Absolutely, excuse me. That's so true. I remember going to a property investment meeting that they have, and it was a luncheon, and there was a gentleman sitting there, and he was just he looked a little ratty, like his clothes. He just looked like he just came off the farm and just came into the restaurant here in Greensboro, and I said, I'm gonna sit there. And so I did, and he was like, little lady, can I tell you something? I said, yeah. And he said, when they're talking about property investments, he said, but, I own mobile home parks. And he said, I make it so that they are not just renting from me, but they end up owning them. He said, you know what? This is how you do that. And I hadn't said nothing, but people weren't sitting with him. They had assumed, I guess, that he had nothing valuable to offer. So you have to be mindful about that. And you have to be willing to take a chance, to show up, to sit with people you wouldn't normally sit with, and listen, like you said, listen, and then have something to contribute if it's the time. Know when it's the time and place. Build relationship. Business is really about relationship.
Absolutely.
And so you have to be mindful about that. And showing up in the right rooms is not simply enough, but it's how you show up.
How you show up. And that's key. Sometimes we overlook people because their appearance doesn't look like ours.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are the ones that have all the knowledge, or have the knowledge that you need at that moment.
Yeah.
You might not went in for that, but he gave you a simple knowledge, like they thinking about on multi-million. No, I'm starting off here. This is where I make my millions.
Right.
On the mobile homes.
Yeah.
You think like, well, I never thought like that.
Yeah.
The opportunity, you think about it, it's not really an expensive adventure.
Yeah.
It's something that's doable.
Yeah. And it made sense to me because I'm from a really small town, so there's a lot of mobile home parks in that area. So it did make sense to me. It made sense to me. So again, it's just important how you show up and how open you are to learn.
So what would be some key takeaways that you would tell women, especially African American women who are business owners, what they can do to stay on top, access capital, more to help them to grow their business? What are some things that you could tell them? First of all, guys, I want to add this. Make sure your business is properly structured, because you can't go after any money or funding, be it grant or loan, if you're not properly structured. It's good to have a name.
Yeah.
But is it registered with the state that you live in? Is it properly set up? Does it have a tax ID? People are not going to give you money if you don't have those things. Do you have a bank account? These are some basic structure that you should know. If you don't know, Fortified Business, Miss Trudy Parson, can help you set that up. She's key. She's key to help you do that. I'm just telling you things that we did some 20-some years ago when we started business. These are things that I've talked to people that's like, well, I got a name. Okay, is it registered? Registered with who? Well, okay, let's back up. So they want to start a business, but they don't have the right things in place.
Yeah.
So what are some things you would tell people that we could take with that they need to do, make sure they have in place, and how to actually go after capital?
So to make sure that you are fundable, right? When you're choosing a name,
I laugh, y'all, but it's true. I've seen some names out here and the emails. Oh my God.
yeah. When you're choosing a name, Shake It Fast LLC is not, unless that's your business, right? So, that is not the way, right? Which means shakeitfast@gmail.com is not the email you should have either, right?
Exactly.
So be mindful about the name that you choose, because the name could be high risk too, based on the code that's associated.
Next code, yeah.
And so you have to be mindful about that. So many components go into just from the very beginning, choosing the name. And if it's high risk, you're more likely to get a no. And so you want to be mindful about that. You want to make sure that your business is registered with 411, and that it's registered on these other Googleable websites where people might search for your business. You want to make sure that it's set up correctly on Google, through Google Business, and so that when people are searching you, and also you want to make sure that you're going to come up higher in the search by using certain keywords on your website, in your blog posts, when you're talking live. Google picks up all of those things and it moves you up the list a little bit more. Make sure you have your EIN number. Make sure you have a DUNS number, you know, where your business credit is registered. And that's really where people check to see if you're real. I mean, it seems foolish, right? But it's true. It's true. And so make sure you have registered with the Secretary of State. Make sure you're choosing the right entity for you. And make sure that you choose not only the right business structure, but the right tax filing structure as well. Because you make the money, but you don't know how to keep the money. You need to learn how to do that. Right? That's gonna be important. And so these things make you fundable. People ask me all the time, well, where's the money? Where do I go to get the money? Well, you have to be able to qualify. I could tell you where that is, but can you qualify? And so you have to make sure that you're able to qualify. Make sure that you have your books in order. Make sure you're filing your taxes. Sometimes business owners are afraid to file their taxes, but if you have the right strategy, you don't have to fear tax time. You know, you just have to know what to do. Make sure you're keeping your books up. Now, if all of these things or some of these things you can't do, these should be budget line items for your business for the year. Absolutely. Assuming you have a budget. But you definitely should have a budget. And education should be a line item. Absolutely. Because how are you bringing your best self? Absolutely. And your best product and services to your clients if you are not investing in education and improvement? Absolutely. So those things are important to make you fundable. And just, you know, a couple of the things that you were asking about in terms of barriers for women of color, and some we can do a lot about, some we can do nothing about. And, you know, compounded bias in lending for women of color often face a combination of racial and gender biases. So we get doubled up on, right? We get doubled up on, and this can manifest in lower loan approval rates, higher interest rates, and smaller loan amounts. But at the same time, for now anyway, there are banks that are obligated to give to certain types of businesses in their community. And so you have to know who those banks are. You have to ask them. You know, all they can say is no. Absolutely. We're Black in America, so we're accustomed to no, right? We're not afraid of no. And so all you can do is ask and find those things out. Those are the easy funding ways when I think about that. But we do experience a lot of challenges, and we have to be mindful about first recognizing what those are, and then do you have the capability to properly pitch your business? Do you know your unique value proposition in the industry? Do you know your numbers? Are you doing competitive analysis? Do you know who your competitor is? Not to copy, but to properly compete. These are all of the things that are needed to know. A lot of us, we just started doing something really well, and then, hello, somebody give me $1 and I'm in business. And that is not for real. It's not. There's so many, that's not scalable, right? And so we have to make sure that we know these other components. And having those other components gives you an easy pitch. Absolutely. Gives you an easy pitch. Absolutely.
One of the things she said, you have to remember this. She said you want to be fundable. You've got to know you have to know your business. When you go and obtain services such as an accountant, CPA, or something, you have to know your business. You cannot depend on someone else to know your business. You have to know your revenue. You have to know what's coming in, what's going out, and you've got to do dollar for dollar. One of the things we do on a weekly basis at our business, I ask Kim what she billed, I see what come in, and we're going to say, where's the difference? What happened? If you don't track the money down, I'm not depending on my CPA to do it. I'm just not. When I go to him, I'm going to say, hey, we took a loss because of XYZ in this area, and this is why. And he's going to notice, Eric, I noticed there's been a decrease or there's been a divot. What happened here? I'm able to explain it to him because I've done my homework. I understand what happened, what took place. There was a transition there or something. But you have to know your business. You got to know it. you created it. You said this is a business somebody gave you, this name, but no one should know your business more than the person who birthed the business.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we go wrong sometimes. We want somebody else to know our business.
Absolutely. And especially when you're talking about taxes, there's so many people that have no idea what their CPA or tax preparer is doing under their social and EIN number. I cannot even express to you to the tune of like just a few months ago, it was a guy, like, I recovered over $200,000 for him. But that is not unusual for me, right? That's not unusual, but it's really sad.
Yeah.
It's really, really sad that it happens more times than not. I've seen where the front desk person of somebody's business was stealing money from them through their gift cards. And because they didn't see where the numbers were changing, when they brought their things to me, and I combed through, you know. And so when I was combing through, I was like, there's a big gap here. Where is this? And that's where we found it. It was through gift cards, but when you stay out of touch, you know, we don't expect you to do the work of a tax preparer or a CPA, but we expect you to keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on
yeah.
your money.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm telling you, it's so important going forward, not just now, but going forward, you need to watch every dollar, watch what you're spending, watch what's going out, what's coming in. Because there are going to be a lot of changes economic-wise. It's going to affect us, and we got to be up on the changes. So if you're not watching the stock market, start watching it. If you ain't watching Newsweek, you ain't watching the trends in the economy, you need to be able to watch the money trends. Follow the money trail.
Yeah.
Follow the stock market. It's going to tell you the NASDAQ number. It's going to tell you what's up, what's going down. It's going to tell you, you know. I have my own conspiracy theories on with the financial system going into 2025. If you got money, put some money at home. Keep some money in a drawer at home. I'm just saying.
Mattress banking. We're going back to mattress banking.
Something. You know, don't keep all you can. You got something. You always got to start thinking outside the box. But as we bring this to a close, Trudy, I want to thank you for some valuable insight that you shared today. And y'all, I'm very serious. If you want to know how to scale your business and you want to know how to make sure it's right, Trudy and Fortified Business
Launch Firm.
See, my mind just went that quick. Fortified Business Launch Firm is the place to be. Don't try to figure it out yourself. She can help you figure it out. And sometimes we're over there racking our brain trying to find somebody to do X, Y, Z. She's it. She opened my world to grants. I knew about grants, and I had applied for grants, small grants years ago, but you were able to show me different things, and then you introduced me to Hello Alice. Then you introduced me to
Hello Skip.
Yeah, Hello Skip. And then a whole nother grant world I didn't know even existed. That has been very wonderful for me, and I've been able to get on different platforms and do different things. So I'm telling you, it's amazing with knowledge. And I think that's what we were afraid of with Vice President Kamala Harris. She came with the knowledge and the fortitude and the brilliance. But guess what? When we fight, we win. We're not backing down. We're coming for y'all. So and not only are we coming for y'all, we're coming for the money. Whatever money they put out there in 2025, we're coming for it because it's ours. We pay taxes. I'm going for my money, so I want my business to grow. So don't you all step to the side because you feel like, oh, I don't think I qualify. I'm going to qualify for whatever they got out there. I'm going to make myself qualify. I'm going to find a way to qualify. I'm going to find a way to make my way through it. If that means we qualifying through you, Trudy, I need to be able to qualify for this. You know how to do this, so how can we qualify? Let's build a partnership. Let's build a relationship.
That's right.
So we talked about that today. And so, Trudy, tell them how they can get in contact with you. We're going to put that on the screen on the lower thirds. So why don't you go right now to the lower thirds. Her contact information is going to be right there. That way you can reach out to her and get in contact with her so that she can help you scale your business.
I'm pretty easy to find. I believe in business you should be easy to find, easy to book, and easy to pay. And so I'm very easy to find. TrudyBParson.com. TRUDI, B as in boy, PARSON.com. Same is true for the email, Trudy@TrudyBParson.com, and all over social media, Trudy B. Parson. Wherever you look for me, it's just pretty simple. I am the brand, I'm the business.
Did y'all hear that? She says, I am the brand, she's the business. Man, I love it. I just absolutely love it. And so today, understand we have value, we have purpose. So if you tapped in today, you want to say, how can I grow my business? You're looking at two black women who started with an idea, who developed a business plan, who executed on that business plan, and now we're moving forward and we are funded and we're trying to get more funding. Let me say that again. You know, we're fundable. So for those of you looking at we are fundable. We are fundable. We're not in competition, but we're here to make each other better. And I think that's the key there. Don't try to compete with your sister. See how we can team up and how we can do it better. I thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Let's Think About It with Dr. E. This has been an amazing conversation. Trudy, thank you for showing up in person.
Absolutely.
You're part of this conversation. This won't be our last. Tax season's coming back. I might have to bring her back because some of y'all want to know what can I write off, but you want to do it the legal way. And so we want to make sure we do it right. But thank you for being a part of this amazing conversation.
Absolutely.
And I am so grateful for the impact you made on my life, but I know not on my life, but other people that you've come in contact with me.
Thank you so much.
So let's think about it with Dr. E. Is here for you. So stay tuned in. Keep thinking, keep growing, and let's keep moving forward. Let's think about it.